where earlier it was a different atmosphere to the one you've just seen. There, members of the ANC have been paying their respects to the family of the former Reserve Bank Governor and Finance Minister Tito Mboweni outside his apartment, the place where he spent his time when he was in Gauteng, and that's where we find our other colleague, Audrey Chimwanda, who joins us live outside that home. Audrey, tell us who have you seen since Fikile Mbalula and that ANC delegation left?
Well, Vuyo, I can tell you that in the past few minutes, while you guys have been discussing chicken stew and garlic, things are a bit more serious here in Killarney, Johannesburg, just outside of the home of the late former governor. Of course, we had the ANC leadership, provincial, as well as members of the national leadership coming to pay their respects. A few minutes ago, we also saw ANC veteran Matthew Sposa walking very solemnly as he entered the building. Not speaking to anyone, but he promised that he'll be able to give us a word as soon as he has spoken to the family. And speaking of the family, they really have been keeping their cards close to their chest. But what they could tell us is that the government is having the final meeting, which will determine the kind of funeral that the former finance minister will have. We're told that it's happening in the next hour and a half, and thereafter we expect a formal announcement from the presidency, then detailing what we can expect in terms of the arrangements that will be made by the government for the official funeral of the former governor Tito Mboweni. We also heard that in the next coming days, people will continue to gather here. Unfortunately, we can't show you, but then cars that are lined up outside of this very modest home, I must say, Vuyo, of the late former minister. Of course, he had many other properties, including the one that my colleague Ntokozo was crossing us live from. But this is a very modest apartment right in the heart of Johannesburg, where we are told by his family members that this is where he felt comfortable outside of the luxuries that one would associate with a member of a former cabinet minister such as himself. So those are the details that we're learning. We're still stationed here outside. We still expect a number of people, family members, of course, once again, who said they can't tell us a lot because they don't want to go ahead of that announcement from the presidency this evening, Vuyo.
Audrey Chimwanda outside the former finance minister's Johannesburg home, where, of course, some of his former colleagues, his comrades in the ANC have been going to pay their tribute, but also pass their condolences to the family. Fikile Mbalula, the Secretary General of the ANC, earlier telling journalists outside the home that the ANC has been discussing a memorial service, but that memorial service will most probably be held after the funeral to give the party adequate time to plan, but to also get the right people to speak about him and his great legacy. Men who the party has entrusted with several roles in democratic South Africa, including governor of the Reserve Bank, finance minister, labor minister, and of course several other portfolios.